Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And this is only my second build in the new world of Copperdale that shipped with the high school years expansion pack. And I think I have a pretty good reason. I mentioned it in my high school build as well, but my husband and I recently just bought our very first house. And we are just over the moon, so happy with it. We're so thrilled to not be in an apartment anymore. However, getting settled in a new place takes a lot of time. Now, I haven't moved. I've moved a lot in my life, but mainly in my adult years, which I think is, I don't know, I just find it interesting. But I hadn't moved for the past like 3 or 4 years, which was a long time within like a 10-year period. Anyway, I've moved all over the place in the past 10 years. But yeah, going from an apartment to a house has been so exciting, but I forgot how cumbersome moving actually is and how long it takes to get settled in a new place and establish a routine and all that stuff. Like my work office, because I'm very, very fortunate and very privileged to have a gaming office with my husband because he's big into games too. And I also have a work office because I work from home, which is really also very exciting for me. But yeah, I don't even have that office set up yet at the time of me recording this. So it's just taken a long time to get settled. But hopefully in the next few weeks, I'll be back on a normal routine. And with that, I was finally able to build a family home in Copperdale. And I was really, really looking forward to it. I think even though I was very distracted with moving and all that fun stuff, I really didn't know what kind of style, like what kind of home I wanted to build here. I didn't do like any research on the architectural styles that seem to be present in this world at all. I just was like, you know what? I'm going to go into this and just build a suburban home and try to use elements that I've seen in some of the builds that shipped with the pack. So kind of like this little front bump out area. I always call it like this little like turret piece. I know that's not right, but it's kind of like a bay window-ish area. I typically do it in like a 3-tile size, which you can kind of see on the front and the back here for Victorian style homes, but making it a little bit wider and using these new windows that do have gameplay functionality for your teens to sneak out, which I think is so cool. That was a little bit uncomfortable. I kind of didn't like the shape as I was fleshing it out here or fleshing it out here. I always say flesh instead of flesh. I don't know why I do that. Anyway, I was also going off of an image on Pinterest. I have since completely misplaced it. And that is because there's just been so many like pictures being taken and deleted as we were moving and like trying to track things. I think I got rid of it because I had it on my phone at one point, but I was going off of an image on Pinterest and kind of just adapted it for the purposes of this build. And this is for a family of 4. That's what I was thinking. Now there is room to maybe add like another sim or 2. You can of course have pets because it's a reasonably small family that I envisioned living here, but the house itself is I guess it's a decent size is what I would consider it. Now, there are 2 teens that I am imagining in this family. And of course I did that because this entire expansion pack is about teens and their experiences in high school. So one of the teens has a garage bedroom, which I don't know why a lot of us have been deciding to do that. I think I've seen things here and there on Twitter of a lot of builders making garage bedrooms for their teens. Like maybe they're more rebellious teens. I don't know. But I did make a garage bedroom, which I thought was really fun. I had so much fun kind of trying to think about the personality of that teen and what they were interested in. And then they also have a sibling. Now, I don't think they were necessarily twins, but I think they do have a sibling who is also a teenager. So maybe they're like a year or 2 apart. I don't know. And they are kind of the opposite, I guess. I don't typically do that. I don't typically say like, oh, like here's opposite twins or anything, but I think here it worked because I just wanted to use different swatches and styles of the new objects that we got with this pack. So I ended up making the other teen's room up on the 2nd floor with the primary bedroom. And it's very like bright and happy and colorful and somewhat boho, whereas the garage bedroom is a little bit more edgy and kind of grungy. I guess that's how I'll describe it. And I just wanted to explore all the different styles of the objects that ship with this pack because we got a fair amount. I think there's like 4 or 5 new beds, and that's me trying to include the double beds and the single beds. I don't remember, but there's a fair amount of new beds, and they are complemented with wardrobes and side tables and rugs and a bunch of like clutter items, which I just think are really, really nice to have. I was really excited about the clutter in this pack. But we are now working on the landscaping and trying to figure out like the driveway and the entry area. And I really enjoyed trying to make the landscaping for this build, I'm not going to say completely natural, but it's a little bit more wild because I was looking at the landscaping surrounding this lot and I didn't want it to look extremely manicured, but I wanted it to look somewhat controlled. Hopefully that makes sense. It's not, the shrubs aren't a perfect shape and they clearly let wildflowers grow and there are chunks and patches of grass that have gotten a little bit longer than other areas. I just wanted it to look a little bit more natural than my typical landscaping is. But you can see here I did make a garage. I did this out of, I think I used this, Reese showed me this, my sweet dear friend Reese. He showed me that you could take these like wall pallets from Eco Lifestyle and put them all together to make a garage, but I ended up getting rid of it just because of the driveway and trying to make it elevated. It was a little bit difficult. It didn't look as nice as I wanted it to, so I ended up just taking a debug garage from the debug menu from base game. And now we're of course onto the interior. So downstairs on the first floor, there's a living room, there's a kitchen, a formal dining room. There's like two pretty decent sized hallways. I really like my hallways in my builds. And then there's also 2 bathrooms and a laundry room. Now, one of the bathrooms is just regularly on the first floor for everybody to use. But then there's another bathroom off of the garage bedroom, specifically for the teen. And then there's also a separate laundry area off the garage as well. So I can imagine that teen who was so excited to have their own cool, like hip bedroom in the garage is also really frustrated because it wasn't meant to be a bedroom and their parents have to constantly go in and out of their room to do the laundry. I feel like that would be a very real struggle. Now, when I was a kid, I'm going to say kid, maybe like preteen or teen. I can't really remember exactly when I made this request. But in my house growing up, we had an unfinished basement. Now, I don't remember if it actually was prepared or ready to be finished at some point. I really don't recall, but I had begged my mom at one point to let me turn it into like a little hangout spot for me and my friends. And now as I'm older, I was thinking about it. Laundry was down there and like the oil tank was down there. And there was a bunch of just like storage stuff and everything down there. And it probably would have been disrupted. Like our cool kid hangout space would have been disrupted by like doing laundry or something like that. So I feel like it would be really distracting and frustrating for a teen, especially if they're rebellious and kind of want to isolate themselves almost a little bit from their family, to have their bedroom in the garage. Like it's cool, but their family also has to walk through it to do laundry. I don't know. That was very long-winded, but here's the living room. I am just going on rants lately. I don't know what it is, but I really liked the living room. I wanted to use as many of the new assets again as I could. So using these curtains was really nice. I like a lot of the swatches, and finding this green swatch, I thought it was so pretty. I love the sheer curtains behind it. And being able to kind of sort of match it with those, I'm going to call them almost salmon colored sofas. I was also ecstatic because that sofa, the 3-seater, is from the new pack, but the love seat is base game and it essentially matches. I was thrilled. I was so happy to see that. It was really exciting to me because if I were to have any complaint right here, right now about the objects that we get with packs, if you give us a sofa, please give us a matching love seat at least, or like a matching armchair, which I think that there was an armchair that maybe had the same color, but the style wasn't identical. I'm like really big on sets for rooms. So if we get, a dining table in one length, like a 4-seater or a 6-seater, I also want a 6 to 8-seater. Do you know what I mean? Like I just want variety. Just want flexibility. And granted, we have tons of packs for The Sims 4 at this point. And again, I'm just very privileged to be able to have all of those packs. So I really shouldn't complain because I have tons of options to choose from. But when it comes to things shipping with packs, I kind of wish we had like full sets sometimes. But anyway, we have moved on to the kitchen, which I wanted to try something a little bit different with the kitchen. I wanted the fridge to kind of be offset, like kind of near the back door. It just felt very homey to me and I don't know why. And I wanted the kitchen to kind of be split up a bit, and I really wanted to use that little bay window area as a breakfast nook. I've done this in other bay window areas before, but I did use the little 3-seater, I'm going to call it that little bay window seat, and then I just put a table up against it with 4 chairs. Now, of course, your Sims cannot sit on that bench, and actually use the table. I so wish that was a thing, but they can of course use all of the chairs, which is fantastic. And I play tested this build. Your Sims can access the stove and the oven just fine. It's not an issue. If you do encounter any routing issues with that, because I know everybody's game can function differently at times, I would say that the chair closest to the stove would be the one that you'd likely have to get rid of because it may block things. But I was very lucky. It did not block anything, and my Sim was able to use it just fine. I do end up moving the broom and dustpan there to, I think, another wall. I think I just shuffle some things over, but I make note of that because I put the parenthood board on that wall. Now with that board, you can set curfews and you can like leave notes and pictures and things. But I don't know. I think I was seeing or reading, I can't even recall exactly where I got this alleged information. But I think I was seeing that the integration with the parenthood like curfew system wasn't super strong or was like non-existent with the release of High School Years. So if that's the case, that's really disappointing. I think it would be really nice if there was integration, and if there is integration and it's just kind of limited, maybe that's something they'll address in the future. I don't know. I think it would be a great opportunity for some cross-pack functionality. I think that'd be really, really cool. But anyway, I did toss a microwave in the corner there. I almost did a coffee pot because I just feel as though if you're a parent, you constantly need coffee, whether you're a parent of toddlers or teens or anything. I don't know. I also love coffee, but I thought the microwave was good. There are some dog treats. Now, I completely spaced on the fact that I put those in the kitchen because I was thinking that maybe this family had a dog or had a cat or something, but I didn't put a cat box. I didn't put anything dog related, like no pet beds, nothing like that. So if you do want to have a pet in a family that you end up putting in this home, the fake dog treats are already there, if that means anything. But the kitchen is pretty much done. And then right here, these are going to be the 2 bathrooms and the laundry room. I thought it was kind of nice that they were all in a line because I think someone mentioned actually in a recent video of mine in a comment that they try to put all the bathrooms either like stacked on top of one another or back to back, depending on how they're building a home, because logically that's how all the plumbing would function and work. I don't know. I'm not a builder. In regards to like actually building real homes, I don't do that. But I thought it kind of worked. And then here's going to be the formal dining room, which is where the stairs are located to get to the second floor. Now I did use this 8-seater, yeah, I think it's an 8-seater dining table. And originally I put 8 seats there, but I thought it took up almost a little bit too much space in the room, and the bay window area was then a little bit tight for me to get in the 2 armchairs that I end up placing there. So I get rid of 2 of the chairs. You can of course add them back if you would like, if you have a huge family here, or if the family that you have living here has friends and family over often for like holidays or big meals and things like that. I think that's kind of a nice opportunity and some flexibility in the table that I ended up choosing. I don't know why I'm giving this so much thought. You know why? It's because I just bought my house, and because I think it was this past weekend, we went out to a few furniture stores and we ended up finally picking a dining set. I never thought, 1, that I would enjoy that so much, and number 2, that it would be such a difficult decision. Because when we had the house built, because we were very lucky, we kind of got in on the ground floor before the house was really constructed. Like the framework was there, but the house wasn't fully constructed or anything like that. And we got to essentially decide if we wanted a chandelier over the dining table, okay? And I think we measured it out for the chandelier to hang right centered over a 72-inch dining table. So we had to make sure that we were measuring all the tables as we went to the furniture stores to find one that would actually fit. And I really wanted like a round dining table at first. I thought that would be really nice, and I thought it would allot us a little bit more room. But anyway, we ended up with a 6-seater that has a leaf in the center, so you can expand it and it could become an 8-seater, which made me so happy. I didn't realize that those existed because apparently I live under a rock, but it was exciting. Anyway, this is going to be the very first teens room. And like I said, it's a little bit more edgy, a little bit darker in some ways. And I just really, really liked it. I love these kind of canopied lights that you can hang over beds. I love the curtains. I used a few of the different rugs to kind of cover a little bit of the cement floor. And I was thinking that this teen was really into sports and music and art. They just had a lot of different interests. and that they were a little bit messier maybe than their sibling. I don't know why. I think both of the rooms are a little bit cluttered and messy, but I was really thinking in particular that this teen was messy. And I got to use that Parenthood wall decal. That's what it's called. The Parenthood wall decal over the bed. I thought that was so freaking cool. I don't typically use that. I think I've used it maybe once or twice ever in a build, but I thought it was so perfect here because the headboard was, well, what am I trying to say? It was straight enough. The top of it was straight enough that this decal looked almost like an extension of the headboard. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm really at a loss for words. The faster I speak, the more I can't pull things that I want to say from my brain. Anyway, I thought it looked really nice, and I gave this teen a desk, and then they also have this nice big curved monitor. Maybe they do some gaming, maybe they do like vlogging. I don't know. They're kind of into that content creation thing. I feel like maybe they follow trends for like certain bands and album releases, you know, stuff like that. I thought it was kind of neat, and I love, I'm going to call it like an egg chair, the little boho one. I love it so much. I really do. It doesn't match the style of like my house and my furniture, but man, do I want one of those so badly. I think they're so cool. I've always wanted like a hanging like boho netted chair like that. I think they're so cool. I want one that's kind of like macrame. I think that would be really neat. Anyway, this is the bathroom and then the laundry room that's downstairs as well. So even though I did put a washer and dryer here, I didn't give each sim a hamper in their bedroom. I gave them the faux hampers that came with base game. So if you wanted to add a hamper in each room, you could. If you want to change the laundry room just into another bathroom, you can, like a full bathroom, you can do whatever the heck you want. It really just depends on kind of what gameplay you all want to play with if you choose to download this house. But now I'm just decorating the dining room just a little bit because I realized I left it kind of empty, for me at least, empty. And then we move on to the second story where there is an ensuite bathroom for the primary bedroom. And then there's also an additional bathroom for the other teen upstairs. Now, I noticed as I was placing the windows that came with this new pack that have gameplay functionality, the game actually lets you know if you're placing them in a spot where the gameplay works. So I was placing these windows all over the build and it was showing as like orange, and it would say, you know, that the gameplay will not work here or something like that. Doesn't mean you can't use them, of course, as windows, because that's how they function. But I ended up placing them in the additional bathroom onto a little balcony, and then I used the, what's it called? Oh, what's it called? You know what I'm talking about. I'm going to call it like the crisscross applesauces that go up and down the house. What are they called? I don't remember, but your Sims can climb down them. So like they go out the window, they can climb down them to sneak out. And essentially what would have to happen is the teen upstairs or downstairs, like if they were going to sneak out of the house, technically via the window, which would be odd for the teen downstairs to go upstairs to do this, but they would have to go out the window there onto the patio and then climb down those things to be able to sneak out. That was kind of the thought. I struggled to find a spot to allow that to work because I was apparently putting windows everywhere where the gameplay wouldn't work. So it was kind of a learning curve for me. Hopefully it works out for you all. I did have to test it a little bit and it worked. So hopefully it does. Fingers crossed yet again. But this is the other teen's bedroom. And again, it's a lot lighter. It's a little bit more colorful, but with pastels and lively colors compared to kind of the purples and the blacks and things that I use for the other teen's room. And I really like this room. I really like it. This is exactly what I wanted my room to kind of be like as a teen. The more I reflect on it, I wanted my room like this. I didn't paint, so yellow's my favorite color, and I wanted to paint my room in high school, and I recall not being allowed to, and being told no. That's what I recall. But as an adult at one point, I actually had to stay with my mom in my childhood home for a couple of months. And this was like in between a transition from like one apartment to another one. So I stayed with my mom. And during that time, I was actually able to paint my former room to make it a little bit more of my own space. My mom allowed it. And I painted it like this pale yellow. And that's kind of the color scheme I went with that bedroom there. And then this is going to be the primary bedroom for the parents where things are a little bit more muted. The same color scheme-ish is threaded throughout the primary bedroom here as it is through the rest of the home. I really left the teens' rooms as very individual and very unique and expressive. But for the parents' room, I decided that it could be a little bit more muted and just kind of match the whole theme of the house. So I was gonna go with those red curtains, but I decided to change them just to the green like they were in the rest of the home. I thought the red kind of complemented the red stripes in the comforter, but it was almost a little bit overbearing. I don't like red to begin with. It's not a color I enjoy, so I decided not to use it. And then I just added a dresser. They also have a small little television on their dresser so they can relax on their bed and just watch TV while the teens, I don't know, play their music or, I don't know, be angsty in their rooms about something. And then really struggling through this voiceover. And then I just added 2 other armchairs. I didn't really know what to put here. Usually I would put like a chess table. It's typically what I go for. But I decided to put 2 armchairs here because maybe they frequently like to sit out on the little patio that they have access to. But if it's like a rainy day or it's cold or too hot or whatever the case is, they can sit in their own little armchairs in their bedroom and read quietly, again, away from the teens. And then this is their little ensuite bathroom. So they have a shower tub combo. And then I also used that awkward space to create a hallway closet as well as a closet, like maybe a linen closet, I guess, in the bathroom itself, which I thought was creative. You can be the judge of that. I thought it was creative. And then this is the little patio that they have access to through their bedroom. Now you may actually have to move one of those chairs for your Sims to be able to climb out of the window. Again, it worked for me, but you just never know. You never know. I also added a few little planters there. There's like an outdoor plant and just a few other small decorations, nothing extensive. And then we go to the little back porch, which is very small. I added a grill and then a picnic table outside. And then the rest of this is actually just the landscaping in the back, which again, I just wanted to look natural and kind of blend in with the surroundings of this lot. But that is pretty much it for the build. I will leave you all with screenshots. I appreciate you so much, and I will catch you next time I post a video. Bye.
Sometimes we act like a fool, not aware we're troublemakers. Sometimes we try to be cool, not being givers, only takers. Stop for a minute, stop and breathe for a minute. Don't get over your head, try to listen instead, won't you? Think for a minute, who you wanna be for a minute. Don't get over your head, you're like everyone else, aren't you? You could gain from being a bit nicer, know when to talk and when to shut your mouth. You're so moody, always such a fighter. Try to open up your mind sometimes, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. Sometimes we yell when we're sad, and sometimes we laugh when we're afraid. Sometimes we smile when we're mad, and some